far have Samus have a team with Max dunking.
Yeah.
have it with Lil Mac dunks posters on Samus, and Samus kind of.
Yeah. We're not doing that.
Samus walking around with a freaking poster.
Yep.
Right.
I'm sorry. That meme is still just hilarious to me. Like
round 2.
At my place. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from?
I remember that image of him sweating bullets, looking at me. He's like, nah, I don't know about that. You killed galactic tyrants. I don't know if I'm
like you're the Nintendo version of Frieza. You blow stuff up. You blow stuff up.
No, at that point, she's gonna be like Fleece Johnson.
Yeah,
right.
I like shit and I won't shit.
That man
like,
still the creepiest man on this planet to this day, bro.
To this day,
Mac better run for his life.
What's up, Sandstorm, man? How you doing?
You're muted.
Can't hear you.
Boy, him and that microphone.
That microphone don't like you, bro. It'd be fighting you.
All right. So we did get another question from Jewel Rider. And this is an interesting one because
can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah.
I forgot that it always switched to
your hair, man.
My fault.
Yeah.
My fault.
So Jewel Rider does add exclusives. Do they make the console? Yes or no? In my opinion, yes, they do, because they give you a reason to purchase their console. If those titles don't go anywhere else. The problem is we're in the past 2 generations games have cost so much that unless you put them everywhere, unless you can control your budget, you're gonna probably have to put it on PC or everywhere. Microsoft is learning this firsthand. Sony has figured this out that hey, okay, we can't just sell our exclusives because 1, the people swear they love them, but they ain't buying them, and 2, we just got to put it on PC, just try to see if we can recoup some money. Not all of it, just some of it, because they cost too much. I mean, when you have Spider-Man 2 costs $200 million, bro,
that game shouldn't have cost that much money.
Should not have cost that. So, in my opinion, yes, exclusives make the console because they give you the reason to purchase said console. Also, when you have an exclusive, especially how Nintendo does it, the features of the system. See, I didn't say gimmick. The feature of the system actually is incorporated in the gameplay of the title that's exclusive. So that's another reason why you make it where okay, you have to buy this on here because it ain't gonna play the same if you try to buy it on PC. It's not gonna play the same if it was on PS5 or whatever Sony platform or Microsoft platform. That's why when I hear people say, "Oh man, if Tears of the Kingdom was just on a real console, it'd be so." No, it wouldn't.
No,
and
I think
it's especially Xbox. You lose the features of having the gyro for one, and that's a major takeaway for that game.
A huge takeaway.
Yeah,
and that's one of the key things too. You know, since I got into like the retro handheld crowd. Like you try to find something that fits the bill for everything, but the 2 consoles that really is hard to do is Wii and 3DS and also DS. Like they're almost impossible to do because no matter what screen you get, you don't want a big screen and then this little tiny PIP screen to where you have to try to touch and it just doesn't work. So you just have to get a 3DS because there's no other functionality like it because it was an exclusive feature, which then resulted in exclusive games having dynamic type of feature sets that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, we saw what Zombie U get turned into Zombie, and that's a completely different game.
It don't even feel right.
101.
Feel right.
Wonderful 101.
But here for the counter argument that I know would come up because I've seen it's been thrown at me before. Well, they could just make the screen switch with a button.
No,
for this particular thing, that doesn't work because especially if everything's happening in real time, you don't want to look away from what's going on real time to swap to another screen and still have everything operating where you can't see it.
Or if you have one game in particular, was Sonic Rush, it uses both screens. Like he's going from the top to the bottom screen. It does not work.
It was Sonic Rush and Contra did that.
Contra did it.
Yeah, and if you ain't quick with the tap, you
you gotta be fast with it, and it's gonna get annoying. Trust me, from somebody that's tried it, it's super annoying. I mean, like I said, the tap can be there, but then also too, it just doesn't work. It doesn't feel good. It really doesn't feel right at all.
No,
But
because
as
you
far as
want to be able to focus on the gameplay.
exactly, but as far as exclusive games are concerned, the conversation of them not being important is only now because the two main consoles that always get paraded are doing horrible. So it's like so at this point, and I think OJ just posted something about it to where IGN was like, "Oh, now that the console war is over, it's like as if Nintendo's not beating both of them." And it's
because everybody goes with that the fact that Nintendo said they're not directly competing with Microsoft and Sony. They meant they're not competing with them in the hardware space. They literally meant we're not wasting our money.
Yeah, they're not wasting money
to try to build a machine to outpace them because one, we know people won't buy it because they'll complain about the price, and two, we can make our games better than what they do. We don't need the same hardware to get the same effect.
So, listen. So, exclusives, right? Crazy that this is still a conversation, but it's funny because I feel like we just had this conversation maybe a couple of days ago when somebody was talking about it was like whatever game they were talking about, and they were like, "Yeah, it's an exclusive." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure that's on the PC," and they were like, "Nah, it's on no other system. It's only for PlayStation and the PC. That makes it an exclusive." And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure you're not understanding what exclusive is." Like, but it's like, but it's a console. There
console
you go.
Exclusive. Yeah, that's
there
what they
you
do.
go.
Yeah.
That's the word you need. Console exclusive is not a true exclusive. Like those aren't the same thing. We don't take half steps and say we're winning. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, oh, that's a huge victory. Look at that.
I made it halfway through the race. I won.
No, that worked.
Like, all these sales for Black Myth Wukong. Those, you see these numbers that Sony's doing? Pretty sure that most of that was the PC numbers.
Right.
You can pretend like it was y'all, but no. So like Jack and Andre said, like the true exclusive and Jay, the true exclusives, what is really honestly what matters, and the reason why at least us old heads, if you will, would buy. Let me change that. Seasoned veterans would pick up a console in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I always picked up the Nintendo consoles because I knew that Mario would not ever going anywhere else except for possibly my phone, and I wasn't getting the same experience with that, right? But that was how I judged whether I wanted a PlayStation back in the day, whether I wanted the PlayStation or the 360. You know what I'm saying? Like the PlayStation 3, it had, God of War and Heavenly Sword, all those other games. And the 360 had, the Gears of War, Blue Dragon. Like those were the reasons why you wanted to go into those systems. Partially because like your friends were there, but that to be honest with you, even today, I know some people are like, "Oh, we Sony for life," but hear me out. If you took those same games that were on the PlayStation and moved them over because they're, for whatever reason, they not on the other system. But if you moved them over to the other system and you started playing them, you were like, "Hey, all the games that we love that we was playing on Sony, they now on Xbox." You know how fast your friends will move over to Xbox? Yep. Like, there's no loyalty in the actual system, more so the games than anything.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those situations where it's like y'all want to pretend like y'all got something special and you really don't. And then when and a company who does still have something special, because y'all ain't got nothing special anymore, it's like, well, two parts. One part, well, console exclusives don't matter anymore because it's all about the third parties that really sell all the games. And on the other hand, well, I promise I'll, if game preservation,
Listen. If you're going to say piracy is preservation, then also buying it is preservation, and buying it and preserving it ensures that there is more to come down the line. Where pirating and preserving it doesn't ensure
nothing's
that.
coming
it just
behind
ensures that you have a copy.
Right to that point, I guarantee you, I am in my Denzel Washington voice. I guarantee it. It's a name brand. I guarantee it. If you buy that game, and Sony has proven this. Sony has proven this themselves. So if you want proof of purchase, Sony got it in them. If you buy a game, they will eventually HD remake it over and over again.
I mean, Last of Us.
They gonna milk that cowboy.
That game has seen too many releases.
Last of Us and
Last of Us is
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Last of Us is the Street Fighter 2 of zombie games.
That is not the last of that version. I tell you that much. It's gonna keep coming. But yeah, that's wild.
That first game, like, can't y'all move on to part 3?
Man,
which I don't think it's gonna happen.
When the PS6 drop, they're gonna re-release.
They're gonna re-release these games again.
Yeah.
Just think, we're just now getting a Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's been like what, 14, 15 years already?
Yeah. And counting.
As soon as they threw in Grand Theft Auto Online, it was like, nah, we just gonna milk this cow.
That's wild.
We gonna milk it till she die.
Which works in their favor. And then they've even found a way to make it look like it's doing crazy too, because I think they released numbers for it, and it did something astronomical as far as sales concerned. But I was like, those are a bit disingenuous. Like, you were selling the shark cards with those games, and so if I can catch the game for $10 and I get like 50,000 shark cards points, come on, we know that game is not being played. That the card was used, but the game wasn't played or downloaded. So I don't know, but yeah, exclusives is necessary. And then, like I said, also to double down on exclusive features for those consoles. I mean, because if you got something special with that console, it makes it hard for it to go anywhere else. And usually if it does go somewhere else, it just doesn't hold up. And honestly, I think this will be a different tune if both Microsoft and Sony kept building on the ones that they started off with. Because while we give Sony a lot of crap for getting rid of IP, Microsoft's done it too. Like, they started off heavy in Xbox, and then as we went along, they just slowly started disappearing. Because I saw what Crimson Sky the other day, and I'm like, what happened to this game? Like, it just never came back. It was stuck on Xbox.
Come on, Jack. You don't want Azuric? Azuric, that's a wonderful franchise, and Blinks is just
Blinks is
stellar.
Hey, Blinks
faded into obscurity.
Cameo. I mean, like, literally bought Rare and just killed
use it at all.
I mean, Everwild. I mean, no, my bad.
No, because Everwild it should stop in time, just like Blinks did. No, I'm all right on that one. Now, I will say, build on Blinks, because the first game is not going to be a home run every time. Build on it, but that's my key point right there. I mean, because I don't know how we got from Project Gotham to Horizon, but at some point, I figured you could possibly hold both of them up. But yeah, Dark Void even said Project Gotham Racing.
But I was like, Project Gotham got replaced by Forza
real fast. JT, look, we've been asking that for the last 15 years. Like,
it was supposed to be a Slide game coming out too.
There was supposed to be. There's supposed to be a movie coming out too with Slide, but they mysteriously dropped them.
They even teased Ape Escape. So
the problem with Infamous is, like, I think Sony just won't let another team work on it, because
I love that franchise.
Naughty Dog is who was it? They were like, no, we don't do those types of games anymore. Like,
the backlash they got from that.
Yeah, what? So,
but it's crazy though that they say they don't do those type of games anymore. And Spider-Man is not too far from being
right. Superhero.
Yeah, it's not
but that's what I'm saying. That and we've said this before, is like, you could have easily have put Spider-Man or had an Infamous situation where the game did something with both, and you missed it, and you missed your opportunity.
And the thing is, do you really think Marvel would have said no? No, they're getting money off top.
They get
Marvel ain't
money
gonna
If
say no.
anything, if anything,
They would have made a
Marvel
comic book off. They would have made a comic book.
they would have
off
made
of
a comic book
Right.
off of it, and then he would have ended up making a cameo in the next Spider-Man movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, bro, you would have made it. So yeah,
I mean, it's literally a comic book story.
it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But they feel that they're too mature for that now.
Demure.
You're too mature to create a fantasy world where a man can swing off buildings by a makeshift gooey rope
Yep.
Right.
and bounce around. He can punch people off buildings, but they don't die.
Wait, and hold on. And when you swing, it mysteriously attaches to something.
Whatever.
Right.
First of all,
It can attach to the atmosphere.
First of all, they got a voice actor to play Kraven that actually sounded like he was Russian. So there's that.
Yeah. Dark Void. This one. So this is my hot take. So don't lynch me. Don't do any crazy stuff. If Banjo and Conquer were to be sold, I still don't think they would sell well. Solely based off of the fact that one, I feel like the bar is too high. It's on that scale of like Half-Life 2 and 3, like waiting for that to come out. But then also two, the nature of those games we don't do anymore. They were like, well, Banjo was more collected on than Conquer was, but Conquer was like that game played on parodies of movies. Now, if they can do that, like, yeah, that can keep going. Like Conquer keep going by doing the whole parody thing, but Banjo.
But are they gonna censor it? That's the thing.
Nintendo, no.
Nintendo ain't gonna do it. Like
Nintendo didn't censor the first. There was like, if you publish it, you can do what you want, and they did.
Then Nintendo let them do what they want to do. We talk about other people though. Other people like Sony. For a company that's supposed to be kiddie, they sure enough be letting their developers have free reign when it comes to it. And Sony and Microsoft be like, no, y'all got to take that out. No, y'all got to take that Stellar Blade. Y'all remember that? Oh yeah, y'all can't have that in there.
Hi, Vicky.
Oh, hi, Vicky.
With the shea butter, baby. Black boy joy.
We got Gex that just recently came back, and Gex does the same thing that Conquer did.
Yeah. I think what Glover's coming back too, right?
I'm so happy. I'm so happy Gex is coming back.
In essence, Nintendo. If we were to say Microsoft was to sell those IPs to Nintendo, which I doubt they ever would, but if they were, Nintendo could, in theory, put a couple small teams on those games, low cost investment, and put them out and just let them build up steam slowly, like they did with everything else.
Do you think people will accept that though, because they're already considered top tier characters?
Yeah,
they're not top tier characters anymore. The reputations have been kind of. So they got
to still hold them up, though.
Jack,
they got to build them up.
Jack, all you gotta do is throw Conquer and Smash Brothers.
If you release a Conquer parody game right now, you release Conquer's Bad Fur Day 2 right now, and then Conquer shows up in Smash. People will find him in Smash with all the parody lines and stuff, and then they will go buy his game.
Yep. That's.
I don't think Nintendo would.
To sweeten the deal, you slickly release him at $30. Brand.
Yeah. Nintendo will not accept buying the IP though.
No.
Because I mean, they have their own. They could just create a new IP. They just made like 7 new IPs for Switch alone. So,
but this is like a fantasy thing though. Just
if we was building a fantasy football team, this would be it.
Yeah, Microsoft would just have to publish it on Nintendo hardware. I mean, they wouldn't need to.
But here's the thing: the way Microsoft acted, I can see Microsoft doing it. The way they acting,
they definitely be
the way they acting now, because they just trying to get any kind of money they can get at this point. So I would not be surprised if in the next couple months the NSO just surprise shadow drop Conquer's Bad Fur Day on the NSO.
Oh yeah, I expect it to happen.
So is Xbox 5 the last console then?
Probably.
I'm gonna go with no.
You don't think so?
You don't think the Xbox is
on time?
It's gonna. Actually, no.
I think it'll be it'll be the last console sold in retail stores.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think going forward, you're gonna have to get it from Microsoft.
Because everything Microsoft's doing now is about the ecosystem. So and they've already said now they have Sarah Bond did let it out that they are working on a new thing. So there probably is another console. That I don't think it's gonna be what we think it is. It's probably just gonna be something that's integratable. That's can be integrated between their ecosystem again. Because remember, they got stuff coming out on Xbox One still. You'll see it in small print, but it's in there on some of those games. So I'm like, it's can be played within the ecosystem. Now,
my prediction would be you will see an Xbox controller even in 20 years from now.
Because it's a great controller.
Yeah, and they pretty much automatically work with PC. So you're gonna see that. You're gonna see that. That's the preferred button layout too.
Yep.
Exactly. Did they change the name from Xbox Xbox controller to just X controller?
Or
no, they're probably
they'll still stay
because that's a brand. That's a brand. So
that's a brand name.
Because it's separate
out the brand.
Right, because it separates you from Microsoft. Because I mean, you got the Windows moniker, you got now Copilot. So Xbox is just yet another subsidiary under Microsoft at that point.
And I don't think you want them to be saying they Microsoft, because then Sadell will be like, "Well, I can let them go." I was about to sign. I was about to fire all y'all.
Why you too giddy, bro? Why you too giddy? Calm down.
Game Pass is the cloud thing he wants. So he's kind of halfway there,
and he still want to fire. And he still want to fire them.
Now, I still say it may have to come from Microsoft, but they still need a cheap entry device for cloud. You can keep saying Xbox is everything all you want to, but if anybody's tried it on any other device, that it doesn't function all that great. Because even though like the Samsung TVs is like, I don't know, Fire Stick, same thing. You're still gonna have to create a cheap device that accepts cloud. But I do
TV,
feel like
basically they gotta make one of those.
Exactly. So I mean, I feel like I think this is like you said, this next one that's coming up, both the handheld and the console, because there will be a handheld, will be their last retail push. But as far as going forward, I think they're still going to offer you hardware at this point. I mean, especially if I can give you hardware that you're going to buy and then they end up being digital only, that's a win-win across the board. And I think they're still selling game digital cards in retail stores too, because you can go to Best Buy and get like, what was it? What was the name of the game? Any Xbox game, like let's think Halo. I can go and get like a Halo card, just scratch it off, and I'll get the game. But we'll see where it goes. But honestly, as far as a platformer fan concerned, I would love for both Conquer and Banjo to come back. I just don't know what in the world you do with them, other than Conquer, because Conquer, they can go the Wayans route, like just make parodies of these movies. They come out and just make Conquer play off of it. Now you just gotta be creative, and I don't know what team you give it to because Retro's not the same, so it is what it is. But I don't know who you give it to. If anything, I'm giving it to Yosef's team. Since he seems like he can come up with something great, I'm giving it to Yosef's team. Just see if they can do something with it, if he wants it. That is.
And knowing Yosef, he'll probably be up for the challenge. Knowing him,
he would, yeah.
And that plus that'd give him an excuse to terrorize Jeff in the next game.
Yeah, I would be down for Conquer more than I would Banjo. I think Banjo got ran down towards the end when they made it over to the 360, and then I just don't know what you're doing them. Because I mean, they tried the collectathon, they tried the whole customization, because it was like, oh, Tears of the Kingdom didn't do this first. It was bolts and nuts. Play that game.
Man, play that. I was like, play that damn
stop
game.
Being stupid. Like, stop looking at highlights on YouTube and it's like, oh, they didn't do it first. But it's I would love to see them both come back. It's just I think only one would succeed, and that's Conquer.
Yeah. I mean, Conquer, like you said, Conquer's the easiest one because the amount of movies that's out now, but they have a field day with Marvel and DC.
I need Kingsman because you gotta do some of the gunplay.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think what other movie.
It's gonna have something with Infinity War. It's gonna have something.
Yeah, you got to get into the Marvel scene.
Marvel and DC.
Mission Impossible.
Right.
Impossible with him doing this crazy stunts.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be that because especially when they took shots at the Matrix.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because there's no game doing that right now.
Yeah.
There's no game doing parody right now, and they can even dip their toe into like John Wick. You can dip your toe into the anime bag. Like make an anime version of Conquer and let him get to his bag, similar to what they had those episodes of what was it, like those fillers for Luffy for One Piece.
One Piece,
yeah. I mean, you could do the same thing with this, and just like, okay, putting Conquer in an anime world, and that's a level. I think that'd be dope.
I would say you could do the so bad that it's good horror movies as well.
Yep.
So they can go in there and they could do the Winnie the Pooh joint.
Yeah.
Like they can go in there.
Oh, actually, that would fit real well in there too because of the teddy bears.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Because the teddy bears are soldiers in that franchise. So yeah.
I'd have one special request though. I'd have one special request. We'd have to do an Afro Samurai-esque Conquer.
Conquer with a fro?
Conquer with a fro.
and Ninja.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that one writes itself. I think Banjo is just too cookie cutter at this point.
Yeah.
And I think you pulling off that Conquer situation, because movies will never stop. And you can find a way to make fun of any movie.
And
the same thing about Banjo though is the cast of characters is insane for that franchise. So it's sad to see all of them go, but not only would you have to work with Nintendo, let's just keep it a book. The majority of your success, if you release this game, is going to be on Nintendo hardware. And so now you got to deal with Nintendo's schedule, because what you're not going to do is launch this with the 3D platformer that Nintendo is
right.
making.
I mean, you could. You're just going to get Horizon.
Yeah, it's going to get destroyed. So you have to work around their schedule. And it's sad, man, but I don't. That might be the last we see of it. And all those. Just think about how many arcs you could have had with all the characters that are in that franchise too.
That's why I always say, like, I really wish the Stamper Brothers didn't take the money.
Yeah.
I really wish we would have been on.
They said they wish they didn't take the money.
Yeah, we would have been on Jet Force Gemini 4 by now.
Yeah,
4 or 5.
We'd be in like Killer Instinct 5 or 6. We'd be on like Conquer 3 or 4.
Might be on the 3rd cameo game by now.
Yeah. So I mean, I really wish they would have never took the money.
That's another one. Cameo, really, you could have kept upping the monsters, you know, and the level design like that. Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of things that Rare just, man. Okay.
And Cameo started out development on GameCube, so
yes.
So and I know Sakurai would have loved throwing some of them characters in Smash.
You know how he would have done that character in Smash, making her transform in the middle of combos.
Yeah,
bro, he'd have had a field day.
Yeah, knowing him, and then he'll embarrass everybody that plays by doing it on 2 separate controls at the same time.
Right? You're like, how's this man? Does he got 4 hands? What is going on here?
all of us, we just hating. We just like, man, you ain't even fair, man.
Like, how you gonna jump me by yourself? Right? You playing 2 characters jumping by yourself
at the same time, like. Dude, when he did that during the Terry direct, I'm like, is he playing
2 controllers?
2 characters with 2 controllers
at the same time?
That ain't even fair.
And my problem is, how can you split your thought that way, man?
Yeah, I'll be confused. You hear me?
He counts in binary.
Yeah, he counts in binary.
You got 2 separate brains. I mean, I can think of some whacked out stuff, but goodness.
Yeah, that was just like, I know everybody in the fight game community was just like,
yeah. Y'all should be happy he never took up tournament play.
Yeah, you know, it's like
remember, he did fight somebody though. He did play against somebody. He
played against someone, but he never joined the tournaments.
It's like,
it's
like if he decided to have a tournament like that, it would remind me of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Pegasus?
Right. Hello,
the Smash Brothers tournament, you get to him and he beats you with 2 characters.
The crazy thing about him is, like, he's got to be the nightmare of a manager though, as a director. Yeah. He's probably worse than Iwata, because there are no excuses. Like, you can't go in. Well, we just couldn't figure out this one. He's already thought of everything that you're doing. So you're like, he already figured this brick wall, and he's like,
figured it out.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you should just probably do it because whatever problems you're gonna run into, I already know them. So don't even come to me with excuses.
Exactly.
Nah, he's just gonna give a full layout. Like, here, when you run into this problem, this is your fix. You run into this problem, this is your fix. You run into this
full flow chart.
I haven't tried this thing yet, but this should work.
It should work. Well, speaking of Yugi, that was another anime that was much like Pokemon that had me thinking I can pull certain things off that was happening in anime. Oh, you imagine how much I struggled to get Toon World, and it didn't do none of what Toon World did.
That's because that first series did a lot of
tomfoolery.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I went to because I used to work at Books A Million part time a few years back. And we hosted one of the regional qualifiers. Mm-hmm. I actually saw somebody pull all 5 pieces of Exodia.
That's crazy.
I actually saw that. I'm like, he pulled it off. And I did see somebody, they did pull Toon World. But once again, if you up against Exodia, that don't matter.
Yeah.
So
in this day and age, doing the slifer and all that stuff, like it's cool, but like it's crazy because in that first season, I think even Joey like makes a fusion. He don't even got the card for it. Like,
I will say like actually being at one of them tournaments, like it was actually fun to see. But that stuff is hard to pull. And the sad thing about it is like you think like the Smash Bros. Tournaments they be telling people ain't you can't play with this character. Like, dude, if you had any of them Egyptian god cards, they keep you out. You had any of them the movie cards like Ultimate Shining Ultimate Dragon, Blue Eyes White Dragon, or Sphinx Kalea or Angel Sphinx banned. Like it was like it got so bad. Like the people was giving us because we were helping out. They gave us the list. Like we had to go through people's cards. Like, bro, you can't play with that, man.
No,
like, come on, you had to pull a Weevil. Yeah, had to pull a Weevil. Go toss their cards out.
Man, I had to get like one dude had like 2 Red Eyes Black Dragons and the Ultimate Red Eye. You can't play with that, man. You can't.
But see,
it's because they fit. To be fair, it's because they change up the rules pretty often. Cards break the rules, so they have to ban them.
Yeah,
but that's one thing I will say. Like for those first seasons, for those animes that are now beloved or not around anymore, they really set like the precedence of these are like master cards. Because when I tell you like Blue Eyes White Dragon was like
serious.
A legendary, it was serious.
You need that.
But like you think about that in the same vein of Pokemon, because I was thinking about this the other day and went to somewhat do a video on it. Like they kind of killed the word legendary. Because when I think about legendary Pokemon, I'm not expecting 20 or 30 legendaries. Like, like when you like, oh, here's Articuno, Moltres, and it's like, all right, cool. There's more next generation. Like, and then there's a god and a devil. Like, so how deep a legendary are we getting?
So I think of it as matter. So I kind of, because I was thinking the same thing, but as it started going, I kind of think of it as not legendary as in. Well, it's still as in the kind of the one of a kind, but more so in the sense of like how we have like just general legends. You know what I'm saying? So thinking about like Greek mythology, you know what I'm saying? But those things actually exist. So like there's only one Zeus and all that other stuff, and like so there's stories behind them, and so like or even thinking about like Moby Dick or like the Chupacabra or Bigfoot or something like that. But like every country has its own legends of, different animals and stuff like that. They just actually exist. The only part that really messes that up is the fact that everybody can catch one.
Everybody can catch one.
So it's like,
but you wouldn't want to make a game and then not allow somebody to get it.
Right.
Like, you got it first, so you're the only person that can ever have it.
That would be tough.
I get it. It just and so you could just think of it as like when you fight somebody else who has that same legendary, it's almost like taking you out of like a multiverse type of situation to be able to fight. But like just even that thought, like even watching the anime, and you've sseen Articuno or Zapdos like multiple times, and you I'm pretty sure y'all don't have kids. Like,
why are you legendary? Like, so do they ever explain why they're legendary?
It's not directly.
Not directly, no.
Seeing like the manga or the games. The games usually explain them pretty decently if you search for it.
Well, it's usually off of a feat, not like rarity.
And the other thing too, you gotta remember, like the legendary thing. The problem with it is because you, especially in the trading card space, you have to keep making them for every season, especially based them off like the anime or the merchandise. So like with Pokemon, it's gonna be about 100. It's gonna be out of 150. It's gonna be about 100 legendaries by the time this get done.
For sure.
The second they make another area, guess what? They gotta have legendaries for that area. They didn't get rid of the other ones
because to me that's what it kind of killed Mewtwo for me. Because it was like they built up Mewtwo, and then you turn around and like he's not even a big dog no more.
Well,
you got a Pokemon that could completely wipe him out of existence.
Wipe him out.
But the thing was, like with Mewtwo, I think Mewtwo was that lightning in the bottle because like the way they presented him, and you got to remember for like the first 5-6 games, you did not want that smoke.
Yeah,
you didn't want that smoke.
Well, no, not unless you had Mew.
Unless you had Mew, you didn't want that smoke. So I think they did a good job. I think they just carried it as long as they could. Now the thing was, he messed around and got popular on Smash Bros. The next thing,
and that was the problem because like Mewtwo was on par with Pikachu for a minute, and it was like, okay, Mewtwo might be one of them ones. But I mean that was always my thing. But looking into like the legendary or the mystique of some of these characters that the animes do within the anime, like what they do in the first season, or even just like that first iteration of that series, it's like it kind of gets killed when the next generation shows up because it's literally like, oh, okay, here's another one to replace that one. You're not so legendary anymore. You're not special, my friend. There's more like you.
That's the problem with this kind of franchise.
Well, it's kind of like in fighting games too, because you have legendary characters, but you got to think of it more as like legendary just means top tier,
right? Because I mean Bison was big dog and then he got knocked off real fast. Bison's basic at this point, and the same thing,
he's a step above basic, but you get
what I'm saying, like because Bison used to be that thing of like, okay, he's like an untouchable, he's a legend. Akuma was the same way for me, and you think about any fighting game, it's like, okay, you can't play as this character for some games. It's like you can't play as this boss character unless you cheat and like you put in a cheat code and play as them. And then like the next game is like they're here because like Goro was like that for me with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, okay, that's the boss. Like you just can't play as him, Shang Tsung. And then they just become your regular characters at some point in time. So
because I mean, this eventually you gotta think of it in this terms of eventually everybody else has to start climbing up to their level.
True. Yeah.
And there has to be somebody above them that has to be taken down.
Hey, Dragon Ball said no, it ain't.
Ended up with Shao Kahn and stuff like that.
And I guess from Shao Kahn, they had to go to gods at that point. So
they had to.
I mean,
it made sense because of Raiden. Like he has to report to somebody too.
And so Tom, you are absolutely right. Just like Super Saiyan.
Yeah, Super Saiyan.
The first, and now like everybody has it. Like One Piece has gears and the upper level.
Guess what? Everybody ain't got. Everybody ain't got the glow.
I just say, just end everything by just saying Cosmos, and that's it. You ain't got to say nothing else.
See,
everybody,
what happened? You see, we were just talking about this.
He said that
you are his problem. You are his problem.
You are.
You're the enabler, sir.
You are the dealer, sir.
Because that man could have left Cosmos alone a long time ago, and he's still and scratching his neck. For Cosmos. And to me, my thing is Cosmos better be the best freaking character on that game the way this man fights for Cosmos.
I started my playthrough again of AC2. I still ain't got her.
So tell me this, with Cosmos, is there an attack to where one shot kill? I'm not.
Yeah, you could. Cosmos breaks the game.
Okay. So it's
the problem is that she has a whole storyline tied to her.
Yeah, and so you have to get her. Like if you want to complete the game, if you want to 100% the game, you have to get her. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to get her. But the problem is they made her so freaking hard to get that is damn near impossible because it's a gotcha game. Like that's the one thing I would say.
The odds are set when you start a new game.
I'm just like, but you could have Cosmos and Numa and Elma in the same party, and you can have Overdrive, Cosmos's kill screen abilities, and all the kill screen abilities from Numa, and it's just like the game is not even the game anymore. Everything
so it's worth the hunt.
Damage caps.
But at this point, you might as well just cheat.
Yeah, it's just all damage cap. Unless you play the DLC challenge stuff, you're not getting touched.
Okay.
And even with because I've seen people like go at those overpowered uniques, and with Cosmos and Rex, and kill the damn thing in 3 moves.
That's it.
So one chain attack, 3 moves, and you're like, what the hell? Like, yeah. So yeah. Unfortunately for me, Ton, I don't get any pity pools for some reason. I don't get any of that.
Like we giving him all the struggle.
I don't know what it is. Like it's just it's such a weird role with your save, like how that works. But basically you're screwed either way because typically if you want Cosmos, you want 100%, right? So you want to pull everybody. Yeah. If you get Cosmos first, that means one of the other easier people to pull now has Cosmos pull rate. Yeah. So it's going to take forever for you to pull that last person.
That's why I hate gotcha. That's why I hate gotcha games. That's why I hate gotcha games, and I hate that.
That was a big problem.
Yeah, I hate that Monolith did that. Like that's why my thing is like, yes, Breath of the Wild is Game of the Year 2017 because of what Monolith did with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. If they would have did that, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 would probably be Game of the Year. But it's not Game of the Year because it's Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is
full Cosmos is Game of the Year for me.
No,
I think honestly, I think the big problem was that they made it complete chance instead of giving you a guaranteed way to get her.
Yeah.
Like give you a way that is guaranteed that you can get her. Make it hard.
Yeah.
Give you a guaranteed way to get her.
But make it doable.
Yeah. Make it a challenge.
Telos, and then you're like, well, here's all this backstory about.
Yeah,
nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Telos without Cosmos.
Yeah, they straight up gave you Telos and everything, and I'm like, I don't want Telos.
Oh, wow, man.
So
like he's here for you.
My thing is, if you give me the person she fights, I want to have her.
Yeah.
So that's like that. To put it in simple terms, this is like giving you Ken without Ryu.
Yeah,
like they doing for freaking City of the Wolves.
It's like when they were talking about smoking noob Saibot in chat. I was like, those characters were almost impossible to beat unless you basically cheated the CPU. Yeah. Then they give you them, and I'm like, okay, like that's interesting, but and then they're nothing like how they were in MK2. So, but
nope.
Yep.
Yeah, the hilarity of all of that. Yeah, but my eternal struggle with Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, I love it. For real.
I mean, we can trade saves, man. I don't, like
that ain't gonna work. we do the save trade. We'll do the save. Next thing you know, Nintendo look. Wait a minute, that Jay's profile. No, take that name no match.
Nah, Cosmos don't go there.
Right.
Let me snatch that record.
He needs to suffer more. So yeah, but all right, man. There is one more thing I did want to talk about that I thought about it, but I could probably hold that off a little bit till after April 2nd.
It's gonna be here soon. People were talking about it like it was 2 years away. It's right around the corner.
No, it's right around the corner. So,
Sony on the phone, like, hey, Rockstar North, can you launch a trailer,
bro? It's about to be
launch it in April and make sure.
Look, if I was Sony and I got that direct pull with Rockstar, I'm like, hey, Rockstar, can we bring back Oni?
Yeah. But Rockstar's probably like, Sony already cut the check. Can we do it the day after?
Do we have any collaborations that we can just pull out? I don't think so. Please.
Yeah. I think about it. There hasn't been another State of Emergency game, has there?
No.
We only got 2.
Wait a minute.
It never got a port, to my knowledge. I think
it never got a port. We only got the 2 games on PS2.
That's it.
Second Emergency was fun.
Was Gun an Activision game?
I think so.
Yeah, it was Activision.
Yes. Yeah, that was Activision.
What? Okay.
Activision had a lot of stuff back in the 6 and 7 gen. They actually did.
They just stopped putting out a lot.
They stopped because why would you when you got Call of Duty making that much money? You can just
until it's stagnated.
And
it's there for you. It's there for you. I'm gonna just say that.
And on top of that, you got a dude that's clearly not a very good CEO at the head of the company. So
what happened to From Software getting bought by Sony?
Them Sony rumors got killed a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sony already wasted a lot of money. Ain't got.
It's just funny to me because I feel like, hold on, wait a minute, hold on.
I don't think like Sony got the money like that to be doing that.
Yeah, that's Sony fan base spending the money for them because that's
had you did that, you could have easily ended careers real quick.
Oh yeah,
and you chose not to.
But then, to be honest, I really don't think Sony has the money like that.
They don't.
Like, people think they got money like that. I'm like, no, they really don't.
They did that to make money. They wanted Nico out of that deal, and they got it. From what I understand, they got that platform out of that. So they're going to make money in Japan by not selling games. Go figure. I don't know how they do that.
Because selling games ain't selling games for them.
Yeah, that's
wow.
The irony.
Yeah, RJ. Yeah, that's true. Because I thought they bought all the Code Cow. They didn't. They didn't. So yeah, they only bought. They basically got like the. I think they have like the majority stock. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but they don't. No, they don't own it. So, but I was wondering how they were going to do that because I'm like, ain't y'all still in debt from when y'all had to fix all them problems with the PS3 and that melting HDMI cable? Because I mean that's why I always said like I didn't understand why they were doing a PS5 Pro. I'm like, you still got the PS5 on the market and it ain't really gonna change nothing. I understand why you did the PS4 Pro because Microsoft was doing the Xbox One X to hide the fact that the OG Xbox One launch was jacked up and didn't do half the stuff it was supposed to do. So I understood that. But Sony did not need to do the PS4 Pro, but they did to keep up with Xbox One X. And they really didn't need to do a PS5 Pro only to say the only thing that makes sense is to say that now we have the most powerful console.
That's it.
Sure. That Pro was necessary.
It still didn't make every game that has ray tracing suddenly 60 frames per second.
No, it didn't.
What is the point?
The cost of ray tracing is
most
very
people can't see it anyway.
They can't even without ray tracing. They can't get everything 40/60. So I'm like,
no, they can't.
My thing is, if you can't identify ray tracing without somebody telling you or you pausing the game and sitting still, then what's the point?
Like, look, literally with my new computer, I started up Resident Evil 2. I played it without ray tracing, then went back with ray tracing. It's sharper. It barely looks better.
Sure.
It barely looks better. Like I'm sitting there like,
but it's not gonna make me, because I'll tell you, it's not gonna make me replay through nothing. It really isn't. And like I said,
ray trace shadows almost aren't worth the computational muscle there. The only good thing I would say, probably the most obvious thing you could tell is ray trace reflections. But even then, you got to pick and choose because a lot of the times in the game, it's so demanding that you can't do both at the same time. So you have the reflections, but you don't have the ray trace shadows, and you don't have full path tracing of light throughout the scene. Like when you have like little fog or whatever, and the particles are lit, all of that goes away when you turn ray tracing on because it's like I can't calculate that too. So I just really think that was just a buzzword that they were using to sell video cards then at the time,
of course, and
it just kind of ran away. Because it's always been piecemeal, and you always had to choose what feature you were going to use. But I don't know. It just really frustrated me. But I would like for everybody to know, if you're new to the channel or any of us at all, like, ray tracing is not ray tracing everything at one time. It's not.
No, it's not.
You got to pick and choose what you're gonna focus on because it's just not there. and it's not even accurate, to be honest with you, because if you're using your GPU to do it, GPUs do things massively parallel. They don't do them accurately. So if you need accuracy, you do that on a CPU, and you use a lot of memory to do that, to error check and then correct and then run another pass to check to see and verify that it's accurate. It's cool, like you do a path and you say, hey, this extends this way, right? As the numbers get larger, you lose accuracy. So you may have a shadow over here or whatever, right, from a distance. And as you change perspective, the accuracy of that shadow changes. And it's not, you might as well have just done regular TNL shadows in that, because you'll get your little blinking or you'll get your stair steps of shadows or whatever, because your shadows are going to lose quality the further away the light source is. It'll start to pixelate a little bit, but at least it'll be more accurate than you trying to ray trace it and it's casting the shadow somewhere it shouldn't be. It looks sharp and clean, but wrong. So I don't know. I just really, I hate when I hear that, and I hate that people they're buying hardware and they're rushing to get games that they use this feature, and it's not even implemented correctly. Or if it's implemented, you have to choose between that and having a correct image if it was just rasterized. So I don't know, man. I play these games, and I'll play these games at a set resolution that's more stable without all the whiz bang effects, because I mean, you're putting a whole bunch of slop on top of what you're looking at, instead of, and your focus should be playing the game anyway. Whatever gives you the best frame rate for the most part anyway, that's more comfortable to you. That's what you should go with. If that's 30 FPS solid or 60 FPS solid, go with it. All this, I want the highest frame rate possible, but sometimes it drops down to 30 or in the teens, or like, how is it? That's not fun. Why would you even want to play that game? Just at some point, it's 120. Like, I don't see the point of it.
I don't even think it's about that anymore. Honestly, I think it's about getting the most connection on social media. Because I mean, in reality, if I can tell somebody that my 4090 or my PS5 Pro runs this game, and let me take a screenshot and send it. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with engagement. There isn't. If you want to show off your new toy, I mean, rightfully so. But if that's your sole purpose, then why'd you spend all that money?
That's the gimmick. Yeah. So instead of hey, look at this controller and how you do this or whatever, the graphics are the gimmick. They always have been, to be honest with you. But that is the gimmick. And it's funny that people will other platforms by saying, "Oh, it's a gimmick and that's why it's sold." And I'm like, the graphics are selling yours. That's a gimmick.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it surely doesn't do anything for your game.
People buying games that aren't even fun. Like,
I mean, if you're looking to play Pokemon ZA, then maybe.
Because I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like this past week, because I'm in the nature of like searching for some Android games, like legitimate Android games, to actually play. I was like, hey, look, fuck it, I'm gonna just take the plunge. I asked my son, I was like, hey, is there anything on Roblox that you think would be suited for me? He almost lost his mind. Like he started running down. Oh, so do you like this? Do you like, okay, so you can play this, and this. And that boy took my Retro Pocket 5 and he set up everything. Like
everything. Yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't the graphics for him. Like honestly, he's playing a game that's Blue Lock, but it's Roblox, and they have fun with that because it's just the nature of creativity, customization, and playing the game to where we have adults that forgot that's a thing. And that's where the essence of gaming to me kind of has gotten bad when it comes down to the engagement, because we're having like 2 or 3 different conversations. You got one side that's like, hey, look, love this game, what it can provide, story, whatever the case may be, gameplay. And then you got the side that's like, hey, I just bought the most expensive thing. I am now that guy, and I can now communicate with other people that spent a lot of money on this. But then you have different conversations in that era too. Because it's like, okay, I only buy exclusives. Well, I only play 2K. Well, I only play Madden. I only play Call of Duty. So it's always something. But ultimately, the key thing is I'm not spending that kind of money just to flash on social media. I don't have that kind of money like that.
I'm just saying, don't do all that. Brag about all that. Talk about how many FPS you got in the game, and then be bad at the game. I think that's probably the worst.
I saw some of those Doom clips. I was like, Jesus.
What are we doing? Hey, I'm emulating Metroid Dread on my Steam Deck. Look at me. And
your gameplay, your ability to play is deplorable, sir.
Yeah. Why won't Metroid crawl in 2025?
I know for with some of the people in my family, they can make a great game like a horrible one. And gameplay can throw you off. Like watching somebody else play a game could throw you off of a game. So
it's be frustrated looking at them. I know I probably lost half my fan base when they watched me beat Breath of the Wild because I hadn't played the game in like 6 months and I jumped straight to the end. Like I just need to
you can't do that.
I did everything but beat the game and came back like 6 months later. I forgot how to jump, all that. I killed my whole they were screaming at me in the chat. It was hilarious, but it can do that. It can do that for sure. Because they're like, why are you doing that? Why don't you just go like, what are you doing? Why are you being that way? Like, why? Oh, like let me figure it out again.
All right, peeps. We're gonna call it a night.
One quick thing.
What's up?
I don't think we disagreed Nintendo entering into the manga anime market.
No.
Our point when we talked about it was that they were using it to enhance what they already have through their IP.
Right.
Like Nintendo Pictures is going to be about enhancing their current IP. Is going to be taking their game IP and distributing it among other stuff to draw people back to the game IP. Pokemon didn't start off as an anime or a manga. It started off as a video game. Then got a card game. Then got an anime and a manga behind it.
Then you got all the plushies and all the other stuff.
It's just marketing. They're using it as a marketing tactic, which cool, but we'll get some good stuff out of it. But we never disagreed that they should enter that market. We just it shouldn't just be exclusive to NSO itself.
And to be fair,
that was about the difference.
And to be fair, Nintendo has optioned for manga to be created. They've done it with Legend of Zelda. They did it with Metroid. Because the Metroid one, I wish they would bring over here. They haven't brought the Metroid one over here. The Legend of Zelda one, they've allowed Akira Himekawa, that duo, to do it, and they've done a lot of them. So, and that got put over here for years. They just finished Twilight Princess last year. So, I mean, they have manga here. I've been a proponent of them doing anime for the longest because
I have been too.
I have even said they need to do a Legend of Zelda anime based off the manga they have, just so people will know the doggone character. Because if you throw Link and Zelda on that doggone big screen, this is not going to be $1 billion like Mario was. It's not like that. So people are already. That's why I said that. So we've been saying that they should be doing anime.
I will say I originally did say years ago that they should include it exclusively to their console, but over time that just doesn't sound like a good idea.
It's not a good idea.
Now, if you want to say, hey, somebody has NSO and they get this stuff ahead of other people, cool. But to just make it exclusive to NSO is not a good marketing tactic for them.
You're gonna need to let Crunchyroll and Netflix get into it.
Yeah, for sure.
I have to if you want to broaden it.
Like I would say put it on, like once they put their movies out in the theater or whatever, or their show out, then put it on NSO and let people get it there before, if they already have an NSO account, sort of like what they're doing with Nintendo Music now, but then spread it out other places. Nintendo Music, I don't mind it being exclusive to having an NSO account, but movies and stuff like that, I think it would make more sense to spread it out.
Yeah,
because everybody ain't a gamer,
right?
Yep.
So I understand that. But all right, peeps, we're gonna call it a night. So thank you everybody in chat. We appreciate you for coming through. Because this was a freestyling episode. So thank you for the engagement. We really do appreciate it. Jack, anything you want to pimp out?
So adulting is still happening, so that's why y'all haven't seen videos in like the past 2 weeks. Like genuinely, we have guests here at the house, so being able to record and things of that nature ain't happening. So I'll get the videos kicked up again pretty soon, especially doing some tweaking on how I want to shoot them and how fast I want to shoot them. So outside of that, man, just it's a lot of work behind the scenes. It's just the nature of getting all this stuff done and released. Is that's one of those the nature of the beast situations. Like you got a lot of things up here, but getting the bad boys put together, man, it's a beast. But yeah, so after I get done being an adult this week, I think I'll be able to start recording again starting next week. So, but that's about it, man.
All right, Andre, what about you?
I mean, look, I do have videos that are sitting waiting to release currently. I'm just waiting to see them get out there, and I gotta get other stuff made because I have a lot of opinions, especially about a particular game. See, look, it wants to blur it out because of me being agitated. But look, see the controller, see this controller, this character, and for the game. Look, I got opinions about that game that are going to probably make Maximilian Dude pissed with me, like he was with Harada. But I don't care because I'll say what I got to say. But yeah, I just gotta try to get stuff out.
All right,
stuff sitting and waiting.
Gotcha. All right, Sandstorm.
So yesterday we talked about Mario's 40th and what we think would come. As everybody knows, Mario's 40th is July 14th. So that was a real good conversation. As well, we also talked about Switch officially turning 8 or 7. But this is eight. Yeah. So that was crazy. 8 years for a Nintendo console. Like, who would have thought? But they did say 10 years, so I guess we all did. But anyway,
they did, and people were like 10 years. They're never going to do that.
Well, they right on the cusp of it now.
Yeah. So great conversation there. We talked about the games that we really like for the system. Some memorable games. Just the extravagancy that is Nintendo Switch. I practiced that, by the way. I kept that in my head. Extravagancy. So if you haven't gotten a chance to check that out, make sure that you check that out. That was me and Vito. Yeah, me and Vito talked. Geronimo was actually out yesterday, but he will be back next week. So today is the WinginIT podcast, so we have the freestyle. Tomorrow is the Jill podcast with the Juices, Loose Crew, Terminator Juice, and everybody. That should be an interesting conversation. If you didn't check out last week, we all chipped in to buy Retro a PS5 since he moved from France to the States. And so all of his other stuff is I told him it's on the Titanic, but it's on it's still on its way here. So he has something to game on top of his Switch and I think his GameCube too. So this coming Friday, though, I didn't make this announcement yesterday, so this is a WinginIT podcast exclusive announcement. Exclusive. Right, world premiere. We are having a Vitoverse on Friday, but I am actually hosting the Vitoverse. So make sure you guys come through. If you don't know what the Vitoverse is, come on by the channel and find out. I ain't even gonna tell you. Come on by the channel and find out.
You're nothing.
So other than that, make sure you subscribe to all these all my brothers over here, and Vicky as well as Nodoka Yui, who does our Nunami, and Vito, who does Vitoverse. I'm just filling in.
All right, Shadow.
Nothing much. Subscribe to everybody here. Get the likes up for this video too if you haven't disconnected yet. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The channel will be back to normal pretty soon, adulting as others have mentioned here. So once that gets right, I'll go back to my original promise of January and we'll get things right. So yeah, that's it.
All right, and that's pretty much all I got for me. There was a fresh take this morning with myself and Vicky, and I also did a Let's Talk with Trey Vito yesterday about Captain America: Brave New World. So please check those out. Those videos are on the channel. Other than that, we'll see you guys next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out, people.
Go green. Go white. Go green. Go
Seahawks,
white.
man. I don't know what they doing.